a parasocial relationship, I feel like I know this person. I feel like I'm connected to the celebrity, and the celebrity doesn't even know who I am. It's not a real relationship, which is why we call it a parasocial relationship. So let's just talk about how these two people have created this. I have to start this off by saying that I am embarrassed by my level of interest in the relationship between Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. This is not something that I would typically be into, but I saw the post go across my Instagram feed that they were engaged, and I was immediately hooked. I wanted to know how he did it, where he did it, who was there, how did it happen, how quickly did she say yes. I wanted to know the whole thing. And so did everybody else. It blew up worldwide. News outlets from People magazine to ESPN covered it. YouTube was flooded with reaction videos. It wasn't just a celebrity engagement, it was a cultural earthquake, which makes it really interesting to analyze. Now, before we jump into this, I want to thank the sponsor for tonight's video, Aura. I have used Aura personally. My family has used Aura now for about a year and a half, and they make me feel so much more secure with my digital footprint. I'll tell you how I got into this. If you Google your name, you will be shocked to see how many places have your personal information. Phone numbers, addresses, date of birth, all of that data is just out there for anyone's consumption. And that's because there are these entities called data brokers who buy and sell your data and distribute it to marketing companies, to scammers, to whoever, in an effort to make money. Now, they are legally obligated to take your content down if you make the request, but it's very difficult to find them to make the request. And that's where Aura comes in. The first thing that happens when you sign up is they scan the internet and they find your information. And they ask you, do you want these sites to have your data? And the answer, at least for me, was absolutely not. And Aura just systematically removes it from the internet. And I'm just telling you, it's amazing to see the number of spam calls and emails drop to near zero. From going from, in my case, outrage at the number of sites that had my information to feeling totally secure is a remarkable thing. And that's not all that Aura does. They are an all-in-one digital security system. You get alerts if your information is found on the dark web, real-time fraud alerts for credit and banking issues, 24/7 monitoring to keep your identity secure. You also have access to a secure VPN, antivirus, password manager, and more. And the support is US-based and available around the clock if a need comes up. Most importantly, if the worst-case scenario does happen, Aura has $5 million in identity theft insurance protection. And fraud experts available 24/7. And the best news is, because you are a valued member of the PopPsych YouTube audience, Aura is offering you a free 14-day trial. All you have to do is click the link below in the description or go to aura.com/PopPsych. I really recommend you try it out. There are several psychological mechanisms at play. The first is a concept called the parasocial relationship. Their fans feel like they have a relationship with both Taylor and Travis. But it just goes one way. In a parasocial relationship, I feel like I know this person. I feel like I know the celebrity. I've been with the celebrity. I'm connected to the celebrity. And the celebrity doesn't even know who I am. It's not a real relationship, which is why we call it a parasocial relationship. So let's just talk about how these two people have created this. Taylor Swift is the most popular pop star of all time, but it's not her music that makes her so connected to her fans. It's the way in which she shares her music. It's the way in which her music represents her life. It's not the quality of the song itself, it's the narrative behind the song. Each album is a chapter of her love life. Each song is a part of her personal diary. If you go to her concerts, if you're part of her audience, you feel like you know who Taylor Swift is. You feel like you've been with her on this journey. When she took her masters back from Scooter Braun, that was an event that enraptured her fans. They were with her as she was fighting the man. It's been designed intentionally or otherwise, I would argue intentionally, by Taylor to create a close connection with her audience. And Travis Kelce, by the way, has done the exact same thing. I think not to the same degree, but if you think about football players, he has been much more invested in connecting with his fans than others. He's on the New Heights podcast with his brother Jason Kelce and has created a huge following. We know more, as a football fan, I know more about how Travis Kelce thinks than any other player in the NFL because he's exposed himself more than anyone else in the NFL. Another aspect of this engagement or this couple that makes them interesting to us is that they each have huge fan groups. I mean, the number of YouTube videos I've watched where podcasters or YouTubers have prefaced their critiques of Taylor Swift by saying, I don't want to upset the Swifties, is amazing. Taylor Swift has created this audience of people, this following that is like an army that will attack any of her enemies, right? If you are part of that community, it feels good to be part of that community. You like the community. You not only like Taylor Swift, but you like the people that also like Taylor Swift. My wife flew to Canada to watch Taylor Swift, not just because she wanted to see the show, but because she wanted to hang out with the other Swifties. There is an identity that is developed there. They identify as a Swiftie, and it's part of who they are. It's the same thing with Travis Kelce. If you are a fan of the NFL, if you're a fan of the Chiefs, I'm not, by the way, but if you're a fan of the Chiefs or you're a fan of the New Heights podcast, there is an identity there. I am a follower of the NFL. I am part of the Chiefs kingdom. I listen to the New Heights podcast. Those are my people. And so when somebody on our team, someone that we identify with, gets engaged, it feels more special to us. Now, the last piece of this that makes it engaging is not really related to Taylor and Travis, but more about the figures that they represent in society. For us as an audience, when we see an engagement like this, we are watching a love story happen real time. You have the hunky football player and the attractive and talented singer, and they are in love, and there is stability to the relationship. They're going to live happily ever after. It's like it was written in a storybook. And it's a reminder, it's sort of like a reminder to everybody that this fantasy can really exist. And so I think there's a lot of people that want that kind of a relationship, that see it, that see the engagement, and they think, oh my gosh, this could really happen, and this might even happen to me. I'm happy it happened to my friend via parasocial relationship, and I hope one day that it happens to me. It really couldn't be made any better for the media. And that brings me to the last thing I'll say about this, which is there is a segment of the population, I think it's a small segment of the population, but I've seen it online, that have watched the engagement, and it confirms their suspicion that this whole relationship is a ruse. You have these two so-called perfect people that want to get married, and that they're not really in love, but they just would like to each individually expand their brands. Being connected with the NFL helps Taylor Swift's footprint get even bigger, and by exposing himself to Taylor's audience, Travis and the New Heights podcast has gotten more popular, and that's why they're getting together. I think it's a wild interpretation. I understand that psychologically, people that would view it that way are probably more inclined to be conspiracy theorists in general, and that personality type likes to be different. That personality type likes to not be fooled. They want to feel like they're always on to things. They don't want to be caught in an error. So I think that's what's going on, but it just feels like in this case, I struggle to see the incentive. I don't think that Taylor Swift needs a bigger audience or that Travis Kelce is looking for a more successful podcast. But that's there too. So I guess the question for you is, when you saw the engagement, how did you react? Did you care? How did you feel? Let me know what you think in the comments below.